Hello?
What's up, bro?
Hey, what's going on, man? How's everything treating you on this fine November afternoon?
Same old, man. You?
Hey, man, I got a lot of complaints, but I won't burden you with them. And to our listeners, you are now listening to the Fried Bologna podcast, and I am your man, Tim Man TC.
And this is your boy High IQ.
And once again, this is the Fried Bologna podcast.
The podcast is as random as Lil Peep being a legend in the rap game. R.I.P.
Yeah, R.I.P. to Lil Peep. I'll be honest, man. I don't know who Lil Peep is. I've never listened to a Lil Peep track, but apparently he was really he took a stance, or he was the face of the emo rap culture or something.
Yeah, and if you're following Instagram or following Twitter, he appears to be a rap legend based on the crazy comments I've been reading. I never heard a record, but apparently he was about to be a big player in the rap game, or already was. Kind of crazy. Another rapper
Now here's
gone because of an overdose. Crazy.
Here's a serious question, and I don't mean this to disrespect Lil Peep or disrespect the dead, but is he a legend because he's dead, or was he a legend when he was living?
He is a legend because he died. 100%. Yeah. 21 years old. Yeah. But apparently, he legit had like a drug problem, and apparently in his raps, he got like really real about it. So, a lot of people, I guess, followed him because of that shit. But I don't know enough, man.
Yeah, and I can't say that I'm going to start listening to his music because he's dead, but I know his fans, his family, his friends, anybody who loved him, I know they're mourning his death right now. But one beautiful thing about art and music is timeless. It lives on. No matter how soon or how late, your favorite artist dies, you can always enjoy their art. So that's the beautiful thing about it. Nobody can ever forget about him.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Technically, he's here forever. Technically, speaking of like ODing and shit, I just watched a pretty dope ass documentary about DJ AM. Yeah, he I think he OD'd. I think 2-3 years ago, maybe 4 years ago. I can't remember.
Nah, it was a minute ago. It was like
wild, right?
Yeah, I think that was back in like maybe 2011. 2012?
Damn.
It was a minute ago.
Time flies,
yeah, time's flown, man.
I would recommend anyone, you gotta watch that. You gotta watch that documentary. Because I didn't know a lot about him. I thought he was like typical, rock star lifestyle, which he kind of was in a sense. But he wasn't as bad as you think someone would be that OD'd, right? And
it was 2009.
Damn, that's right, because he appeared in the Iron Man movie. Yeah, he appeared in the Iron Man movie, and he died like shortly after that. Yeah,
damn,
dude,
that's just crazy.
Definitely check that out. Because my only question to anyone that's watched it, and I hope you watch it, TC. I don't know if there's any possible way he could have escaped his fate. Meaning, if you watch the documentary, I feel like it was gonna happen based on the way his life unfolded. He didn't do anything wrong necessarily. He was just being a human being. Like, his personality led him to what he did. You got to check it out. Highly recommend that shit.
Yeah. Don't give too much away because it sounds like something I actually do want to watch. It's on Netflix?
Yeah, I saw it on Showtime.
Ah, okay. Well, I gotta
Yeah.
download the Showtime app anyway because one of my favorite television shows is now back, and I'm like 2 episodes behind or something. That television show is Shameless, with the oh so talented, oh so beautiful Emmy Rossum as Fiona Gallagher. William H Macy is in it. Have you ever watched Shameless?
Yeah, I watch it. I watch it a lot. I've never seen a season straight through, but whenever it's on, I'll catch it and I'll watch it. It's funny as it's like 8 seasons. They're like 8, 9 seasons in. It's crazy.
Hey, hey, I watched about 3 seasons within a week. Back when I found the show, and I love this show, man. Great show. So I can't wait to start digging back into it, and seeing if Fiona is going to bless us with some more nudity. Shouts out
Oh
to
wait,
Emmy Rossum. Keep doing your thing,
she
girl.
she's been new before. I didn't know this.
On the show, she absolutely has.
Did
So
not know
if you don't
that.
watch the show for anything else, yeah, go ahead and watch it for some frontal from the beautiful Emmy Rossum.
Wow, didn't know that. Okay, good to know. I think she's wifed up now. Unfortunately, lucky guy.
Mm. Well, hey, I wish them the best, but nothing lasts forever, so still got a shot.
You're saying there's a chance, TC. Yeah, yeah, man.
um,
Uh,
so we are on the cusp of Thanksgiving. Shouts out to everybody who celebrates Thanksgiving, even those who don't. I hope y'all have a fun and safe and filling Thanksgiving. But I don't want to talk about Thanksgiving. I want to talk about the day after Thanksgiving, or excuse me, the night of Thanksgiving, where people camp out in front of Targets and Walmarts and Best Buys and any store that sells shit. How heavy, if at all, do you fuck with Black Friday?
I can give you a percentage, and the percentage is 0.00% repeating. I don't do that. I just think, look, I love a good deal. I love it, but I'm not gonna go out there and sit in the cold and then possibly risk my life for a new flat screen. Can't do it. I just think it's a waste of time. But shout out to all those who do it. I couldn't. You fuck with it?
No. I'm with you on that percentage, 0.000 with that line over the last zero. I don't fuck with Black Friday because I don't like crowds and I don't like people. And I definitely don't like crowds of people. So no, I don't fuck with Black Friday. I don't want anything that bad. And to be quite honest with you, I don't know how this always happens, but I find myself being broke around Black Friday all the time. It never fails. Like Black Friday, it's like I'm counting my money more than I ever have. So yeah,
Yeah.
I can't participate because of that. Is in true fashion, I am yet broke again as we approach Black Friday.
Yeah, like I've always wondered. I mean, I guess maybe people just save up in advance, but like I never have like just racks on hand. Like, you know what? I'm gonna spend all this on Black Friday. I may have a good chunk of change, but nothing where I could go to like Walmart or Target and be like, I'm about to clean up this Black Friday. Never done it. And I'm not sure if
No,
you.
neither. And rent's due a few days after that.
Right? Yeah,
So
yeah.
I definitely ain't tricking off on Black Friday.
But I think that there's a lot of people that go ahead and take that risk. Like the landlord will understand. It's the holidays. He'll give me an extension and go ahead and trick all that money off on that Black Friday, man. And it'll be like, we'll deal with the
Listen,
rent later. I think a lot of people do that a lot.
listen, my property management never hesitates to let me know when my rent is late. They've never been understanding. If it's the 5th and I don't have rent in by at least the 6th or 7th, they are leaving a notice on my door. And when I get home from work, I'm like, well, yeah, it's about that time.
Yeah, yeah. I don't think there's any landlords that really understand. I just think, people just do what they got to do. Uh, and I don't know, like I've been, seeing a lot of commercials lately for the holidays, and I don't know about you, but a couple days ago it just hit me. So I'm watching a commercial, and we've seen commercials since we've been kids about, it's a typical commercial, a family or the wife comes outside and the husband surprises them with a brand new car with a ribbon on top. And 2 days ago, I saw a commercial like that for a Lexus. And I was like, damn, I don't know anybody in my circle, family, friends, acquaintances, that's ever bought a car for somebody for Christmas. Like, I don't know anyone that's gotten a car for Christmas, bruh. Do you?
I don't know. No, absolutely not. Definitely not in my family. Because that sets the bar way too high for the next year. And we are a family of keeping your expectations low. We might over deliver with those low expectations, but we're not going to. We don't want you to think that we're going to outdo ourselves, because we're not.
Yeah.
And a car, again, it just sets the bar too high. Like, what do you get the next year? Where do you go from there? Would you get a fucking house for Christmas? And then after the house, what do you get? A jet? Then after a jet, what else do you get? So I'm going to buy you a sports team?
Yeah, you got to build it. You got to start off small. Start off with a bike, a nice bicycle, and then go from there. You can't.
Yeah, next year you get the helmet.
Yeah, exactly. Accessories and shit. You can't spend $100,000 one Christmas for somebody. You can't, unless you just absolutely need the vehicle for like a business or something. Yeah, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it.
Or you cheated on your wife or somebody, and the gift is mainly, hey, can you please forget that I cheated on you? Take this car. Take this big diamond ring.
Yeah, the old Kobe Bryant $4.4 million ring. Sorry gift. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, I think that's the only way, I guess, it's understandable. But let's be real, man. Any woman's gonna take that jewelry. Any of them's gonna take the jewelry, whether they forgive you or not.
Absolutely.
It's fucking $4.4 million.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, take that stimulus package. It's crazy.
Yeah, I forgive you today until the next argument when I bring it up.
Yeah, like I have an acquaintance that he just started talking to a girl, and he's really feeling the girl, whatever, man. But I'm concerned because from the jump, he's spending Mayweather money trying to, like, for me, if I'm feeling the girl, I'm like, hey, you know what? Let's go out to eat. Let's get a drink. I'm not doing these, a limo's going to pick you up at 3. Then we're going to fly to Colorado where I reserved a timeshare. Nah, bruh. You setting yourself up for failure. He's spending Mayweather money on the first 3 dates. But
man, and here's the problem with doing that. It's not that she's not worth it or he just really enjoys spending time with her. He really likes her, and so he's going to, do what it takes. No. See, the problem is she's going to start expecting that. And he's going to have to, being that he set that precedence, she's gotten accustomed to that, he's going to have to continue to do that. And unless you got it like that, you can't do that. Actually, even if you do got it like that, that's a bad precedence to set. Man or woman. I don't suggest that any woman starts tricking off on a guy that she likes just because she likes them, because he's going to start expecting it. And they tell you don't feed the bears for a reason. The goddamn bears are going to come back to eat some more. So I'll just wrap this all up by saying, nah, fuck that.
Yeah. By the time your 1 year anniversary hit, you 10 million in the hole. Fuck that. I'm good.
Nah. Yeah, I'm a regular 9-to-5er, middle class, apartment renting individual. I don't have the means to trick off, but hey, I can, any any of us can just be, nice guys and try to do what you can to treat somebody right. If that ain't enough, then go eat a bag of dicks, because I don't want to fuck with you anyway.
Now, switching gears here, our first call, we talked about going to the bathroom at work, right?
More specifically, taking shits at work.
Mm-hmm. And I came across a story on the internet, and I'm in shock. Now, what I'm about to tell you, you're not going to believe it, but here it is. So I was on a popular hip hop forum, right? And I came across a post on there, and the title read, now I'm paraphrasing here, but something along the lines of, I'm a grown ass man, and I'm sorry. I'm a grown ass man. I'm not wiping my ass because I'm straight. So I was like, wait, what is this bullshit? So I clicked on it.
What the fuck?
I clicked on it, right? And the guy's basically saying his stance on wiping his ass after number 2 is essentially no straight man's hand belongs near his behind, because that's a homosexual act. And a man's body is able to clean the ass without wiping. Right? And I was like, oh my God.
This dirty, crusty ass. Oh.
But here's the thing.
Continue.
It gets worse.
I'm grossed
It
out.
gets worse. Because
there's no way it gets worse than that.
It does. It does. Because I don't know about you, but when you read some crazy shit like that, the next thing that pops up in your mind is, I can't wait to read these fucking comments, right? Now, to my surprise, I would say, you got the first 2-3 comments. It's like, we're in agreement. It's a nasty ass dude. But then I was seeing comments that were in agreement with this shit, right? And then I saw a post by a woman, and she says, and I'm paraphrasing here, she says, I can't stand this stance on hygiene. My husband has the same stance. And unfortunately for me,
there's more than one motherfucker out here doing that shit.
Apparently there's an epidemic going on, dude. Like, she was like, and unfortunately for me, I have to do his laundry. And I guess whatever reason, the dude wears, what do you call it? Like, not boxer briefs, like the old school
whitey
underwear.
tighties.
Yeah. Whitey tighties. Right. And she says, and all I see consistently is, screech marks in his underwear. And I confront him about it. And his response is, man, I ain't gay. I ain't trying to do all that. Bruh.
Wiping your ass is gay?
Bruh. Hey, I've never heard that in my lifetime. This is the first time I've ever come across that. And, yeah,
what kind of like, so having a dirty ass is the ultimate form of masculinity? All right, this has got to stop. This has got to stop, man. Like, I'm what most would consider a pretty masculine guy, right? For the most part, I'm your average masculine dude. There's nothing gay about a clean ass. Your ass is not clean so you can get fucked in it. Your ass is clean so you're not dirty. So you don't have shit in your ass, so your ass ain't itchy. Hey, everybody remembers that one time where they didn't wipe well enough and their ass was itchy and burny. Everybody remembers that. Everybody has faced that at least once in their life. So you're saying this man doesn't wipe his ass at all? He takes a shit and then goes about his day?
Just gets up and, does 8 hours on the job and comes home with a dirty ass, man. No. The human body is amazing, but the human body can't do that. It can't.
Nobody
clean
has a
itself.
self-cleaning asshole.
That's ridiculous, man. Yeah,
Although,
so
if I had 3 wishes and I couldn't wish for world peace or an obscene amount of money, if those like were off the table for wishes, and I can only wish for something just, random, I would wish for I would wish that my farts were all silent and didn't smell, so I can fart at any given time at any place. And then I would wish for a self-cleaning asshole, so I didn't have to be inconvenienced by wiping. But since I am inconvenienced by wiping, I'm gonna wipe. And again, if our listeners do remember some time back, I do use baby wipes. That way I can be as clean as I possibly can without having to take a shower. Because that's what life is all about, right? Being as clean as you can in between showers.
I would say that's a high priority for most. It should be, but apparently that's not the case. Apparently, dudes are happy with nasty ass.
I reckon.
Nasty.
I reckon you divorce somebody who's not wiping their ass. And if you don't, you're just as nasty. Because ain't no way I'm getting in bed with somebody who hasn't wiped their ass. Like, okay, this is even extreme for me. But if someone said, yeah, I didn't wipe my ass, but I got right in the shower, I'd be like, oh, okay, well, you had like shit running all down your shower, in your shower while you were showering, but at least you were in the shower, taking care of the problem. But to take a shit and just get up and be like, well, I'm all done. I bet he doesn't wash his hands either, because washing your hands and having your hands smell like clean soap is probably gay too.
But okay, so let's say, because here's the thing. Let's say you date a girl for 2 years and you guys are in love. You guys move in together, right? And for whatever reason, this is the first time this has come up where you realize, hey, my chick doesn't wipe her ass after she gets up. Let's just say, for whatever reason, right? See,
can I cut you off for 1 second?
Go ahead.
I think I'd have already known by then, because if we've been dating for 2 years, I've already smashed, right? I've smashed probably within the first few months. And I would have noticed her ass wasn't clean.
Okay. True. Okay.
So
let's say
let's pretend that we live in a world where these scenarios hadn't happened, and your hypothetical situation is valid. So I'll play along. I'm sorry. Continue.
So let's say the first time you see that, you realize she doesn't wipe her ass, right? Here's the thing. There is no discussion. For me, that's an instant breakup. I just feel like you got to just move on. Because what's the point of, if you see her purposely, she doesn't wipe her ass, I feel like, what the fuck else is she not doing?
Right. Well, hey, listen, okay, I think knee jerk would be right just to break up right with her. You don't think it deserves to talk first? Like, you're gonna either have to start wiping your ass, or we're done.
Well, if she comes to me, like, if I'm laying in bed, I'm like, hey, you did number 2, did you not wipe your ass? And she's like, no, silly. I'm like, okay, you gotta get the fuck out. You gotta get the fuck out of here.
Well, you gotta get the fuck out of my bed, or I gotta get the fuck out of yours.
I'm gonna be like, it's over. I couldn't do it. What is there to talk about?
Well, think about this. You say you've been together for 2 years and she hadn't wiped her ass. And if you like to pleasure your woman with oral pleasures, you've likely have tasted some of her shit. Think about that. There's no amount of Listerine in the world that would make me feel better about that.
Yeah, that's fucking disgusting.
Because if she's not wiping her ass, you think she's wiping when she takes a piss?
And
the answer is no.
And the crazy thing about it is, what we're talking about, you would think like, oh, this is crazy talk. But apparently, no. Apparently, based on what I was reading, there's a lot of people in the world that are in agreement with this. Let's just hope that this was a trolling thread, but it was some people in there that was heated, making a stance on the anti-wiping. So there you have it. That's the crazy internet story for the fucking day.
That's the most bizarre shit I have ever heard in my life.
That's almost as bizarre as a HIV eatery, but we covered that last week. Stay tuned for next week.
Yeah, shit. I know. What else are we in store for? Speaking of surprises, within the last week, my man Eminem has dropped the track "Walk on Water" with the incomparable Beyonce Knowles, and as you know, Eminem is my GOAT. He's my favorite rapper of all time. I think he's probably the best lyricist to ever pick up a mic. And I've heard mixed reviews about this song. Actually, I can't say I've necessarily heard mixed reviews. I've heard people are fucking with it, and then I heard that people think it's trash.
Okay.
But I haven't heard anybody say how incredible the song was. Now, even me as an Eminem fan, I didn't think the song was incredible. I didn't think it was life-changing. But I think the song's not bad at all. I think the song's pretty good. As far as what he's saying, I believe it's completely it's what we all kind of knew about him. He says that, basically his confidence was shot and he doesn't know what else to say because like he said everything and the temperature of rap has changed and like is his style supposed to change too, and he knows how people perceive him, like as being the lyrical genius, the lyrical god that he is. But and for that, he walks on water, but he's not Jesus. He's just a man, and it's difficult for him to say dope shit, and then say dope shit some more, and then say some more dope shit. And each time it's got to be doper than that last shit. And if it's anything other than doper, then people are going to say how trash he is, how garbage he is, or how he's fallen off. And I do believe Eminem is held to a different standard than a lot of people. Let's say just like Jay-Z. Jay-Z's held to a whole different standard because Jay-Z has made a lot of trash that people have loved. But somehow Jay-Z has, I think we talked about this before, but Jay-Z has found a way to manipulate the general public or to thinking that everything he says is still dope, and it's not. But here's what I love about Eminem. And it's not always Eminem's subject matter, because I can sometimes take or leave Eminem's subject matter. What impresses me, what keeps me listening to Eminem, is how he's going to put those words together. Even if it's like brain dead or brain damage, excuse me. Like he was telling a whole fictitious story about getting bullied by a kid named D'Angelo Bailey. Like he was telling a story, but the way he was rhyming those words was insane. So I love the song because of that, putting those words together, those syllables. So I say all that to say, no, the song wasn't great, wasn't life-changing, but I'm glad to hear Eminem. I can't wait for his album to come out, and a collaboration with Beyonce definitely it will achieve or has achieved what he set out for it to do, which is garner garner mass appeal. You get the Beyonce fans, you get obviously the Eminem fans, and then you get people talking about it, and I believe that's what he wanted to accomplish. Job well done.
Okay. Let me get my Stephen A. Smith on really quick. Let me start off by saying this.
Oh, so you about to be a hater then?
Yeah. Let me start off by saying this. Eminem is, if he's not in the top 3, he is top 5 of all time. Okay. I have to give him that credit. Lyrically, he's untouchable. And he does have classics under his belt. Classic songs and classic albums. And he is responsible for the whole, G Unit 50 Cent thing. Okay. He saw something in 50 that a lot of people didn't.
And we are grateful for that.
Yes, forever grateful. That was some prime hip hop years there, especially when all the beef was going on. But I have to say, when I heard the Walk on Water record, it is by far the worst trash example of music that Eminem has ever put out. By far. The only thing that makes
I'll disagree with that.
The only thing that makes it like even tolerable is the fact that Eminem, his lyrical ability and his content still is there. But I'm not trying to hear a gospel song from Eminem. I'm just not. It just sounded forced and it sounded whack as fuck. Before this,
I get what you're saying.
Now, before this though, I was on the fence. I was like, I never want to say someone of his caliber, oh, that nigga fell off. Because a lot of things happen in hip hop where it may seem like someone is falling off. Eminem is falling off, man. He's fallen off terribly. And the reason for that is because, number one, he's probably done the worst job as far as adapting to the ever-changing hip-hop climate. Jay-Z does an incredible job of that. Jay-Z will look and listen and see what a trend is, and he'll mix it in with some of his records, but he'll still remain Jay-Z. Eminem just keeps doing the same shit. Eminem has been using the same flow for the last 10 years. And I do respect his lyrical ability. I am over it. I'm over of the whole rhyme scheme of making words rhyme where they don't seem like they rhyme. But at the end of the day, what are we fucking talking about? Because like, if you want to talk about a savage, cabbage, match pick, it's like, I'm over that, bruh. I'm over it. It's a wrap.
So
it's a wrap.
Here's a question. So the words on Walk on Water, his verses, do you like his verses, the overall message of his verses? Do you like that?
Yes. That's what makes it tolerable. The verses.
So
the verses.
What you're saying is like, if his verses were on a better beat, like so the song, I am, I am whatever you say I am. If I wasn't, why would I say I am? Off of the Marshall Mathers LP. Like, so if that song was on a beat, like, with beat drop, there's some actual music, you would have received the song better, is what you're saying.
Well, that's a tough question, because the reason why I don't like this song is because my whole thing is, if we haven't heard from you in a while, right? And this is like your I don't know if you want to call this a comeback. I don't know what you call it. Maybe it's just him just releasing new music again. Unfortunately for you, you have set the bar too high. And I'm not expecting instant classic shit, but I'm expecting dope shit. And that shit was not dope. It was lukewarm. And
why is Jay-Z held to a different standard?
Is he?
Have you ever sat back and asked yourself that question?
Is Jay-Z? I feel like they're held to a similar standard. I feel like people are expecting
Jay-Z's held
shit.
to a whole different standard, because you got motherfuckers talking about 444 was a classic. That shit was not a classic. Jay-Z hasn't had a classic since the Black Album. He's dropped a lot of trash since then. A lot of trash verses, a lot of trash albums. But motherfuckers seem to love it.
Okay.
I can't put my finger on what separates, because Jay-Z he's not boggling anybody's mind with like his rhyme schemes or what he's saying. Every now and then he'll say some fly shit where you're like, oh, Jay, that's the Jay I want to hear. Just like anything, like, you put somebody puts up enough shots in a game, they're gonna have a nice, step back three in somebody's face eventually, but they're 4 for 52. They have a very low shooting percentage.
Yeah.
And right now, Jay-Z's shooting percentage to me is very low, but he's, for whatever reason, people they don't hold him to the same standard. Like they will ride and die with his music. I don't know what it is, but Jay-Z has done a great job of manipulating the listener. And I'm not saying that to make an excuse for Eminem. I'm just saying, like, it just seems like Jay-Z he doesn't have the same kind of criticism as Eminem does when it comes to rap, because Eminem is a technical rapper, and sometimes that makes it so he's not saying shit, but you just got to pay attention to how he's saying it, so you can be impressed with that.
I'll give you that, and I think I'll give you that, and I say I do feel like they are held on a higher standard than most rappers, but I do understand why you feel like Jay-Z does get a pass. I think the reason why he gets a pass is because two things. Jay-Z, whether you want to admit it or not, and I think it's kind of whack, but he has been considered a trendsetter in hip hop, and Eminem a consistent trendsetter, meaning Jay-Z comes out with a record or comes out with a concept and niggas jump on it and start copying Jay-Z, hence the button up shit, right? The second thing is Jay-Z really uses marketing dollars like no other rap artist. So he can essentially make whack records seem hot and dope. He can pay people to make it seem like the record is doing way better than what it actually is doing. I don't think Eminem really puts all that effort into the marketing. I think he just releases content, and if you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. Right? He just does the bare minimum. I think those are the two main reasons.
Yeah. Well, again, like, Jay-Z and Beyonce, like M. Cot said last week, they know how to market themselves. See, Eminem he's a hip hop purist. The business of rap, the business of music, does not entice or intrigue Eminem any. I think he is just all about the art of rhyming. And that's all he cares about. Why do you think he still dresses like a bum? Why do you think he just drives, a Suburban or a Tahoe? Why do you think he's a recluse? Because he doesn't care about being famous. He doesn't care about that shit. Even when he was at the height of his fame, he only cared about rap. I think I don't know, man. I just don't think. I think Eminem is held to a different standard, man. He is, and maybe it's a fault of his own for being so good and being so impressive that we just expect more out of him. But just like we expect more out of him, especially at this point in his career, Eminem is going on 45 years old or some shit like that. Like, so yeah, Eminem is not a young guy, and maybe we have to cope with the fact that his best years are behind him, and we're not going to get the same quality of rap, same quality of music. Same goes with Jay. So maybe we should just judge them for how they are now instead of what we remember about them. Like MJ going to the Wizards. Maybe that's how we should look at it.
Okay. That's fair. That's fair. But if you're Eminem and Jay, you have to understand that when you come out with new shit, it's an event. It's a big deal. So you better come correct. And I'm not expecting instant classics anymore. I mean, you could argue the prime years are way past them, but I am expecting something that is dope, collectively. Like, I don't want to hear the first song that you release off your new album. It can't be, man, it can't be whatever to me. I want to be able to bump it. And Eminem didn't do that. Jay-Z at least does that. Now, some of his albums may be complete trash, but his first single usually or second single, you'd be like, okay, I gotta listen to this shit. You know, I gotta see what this album's about. With Eminem, with this bullshit that he came out with, I'm not eager to hear this shit.
Oh, I'm definitely eager to hear an Eminem album. Like, there's no way that, like, I'm buying a physical copy of the album.
But you're basing it off of his past shit. Like, if
I'm an Eminem
other
fan.
artist did this bullshit, but because you're a fan, okay. But because you're a fan, you can't ignore the fact that he's been falling off the past 5 years.
Well, yeah,
I
agree.
I mean, it's like,
I'll be the first to admit Eminem's best years are behind him, but in all of the newer, less impressive stuff, there's still some gems there. Like the Marshall Mathers LP might not have been the best album he's ever released. It might not be a classic, but M had some very good tracks on that album, lyrically and subject matter wise.
okay. So if we're saying, let's just group Jay-Z and Eminem in the MJ, Hall of Fame GOAT status category, right? When you come back, listen, I'm not expecting you to be the MJ on the Chicago Bulls, but goddamn it, you better be the MJ on the Wizards at least. At least be the MJ on the Wizards. Jay-Z is at least that. I feel like Eminem is not.
So, M is not putting up 20 a game anymore?
What's that?
M's not putting up 20 a game. Like, what would M's stat line look like right now in his career?
Okay. M is putting up 14 points a game, 4.5 assists per game.
What was it? Wait, what was that? What was that point count?
2-3 rebounds. 4.5 assists.
No.
Per game.
What was the points?
14 points a game.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's averaging maybe 2-3 rebounds a game. Okay. Come on, bro. I need at least 20 points per game, and I need 7 boards a game.
So you're talking about an old vet. So we'll just say, let's call him Vince Carter, because Vince Carter has been in the league for a minute. So if Vince Carter was putting up 14 a game, 4.5 assists,
mm-hmm.
and a couple 2-3 boards a game, we wouldn't say, hey, he's still doing his thing for an old dude in the league, for like a 20-year vet.
We would, but the reason why we would is because it's Vince fucking Carter. If it's MJ, we're like, MJ kind of fell off, man. Right? It was, to me, I'm cool. I was cool with the MJ on the Wizards, but a lot of people were like, "Oh, MJ fell off," and MJ was putting up bomb ass numbers on the Wizards. He dropped 40 at 40 years old,
and an average 20.
I'm good with the Wizards MJ. Yeah, I'm good with the Wizards MJ. Okay, but Eminem is not even Wizards MJ level right now. He's not.
That's fair. I mean, I'm not. I won't argue with you. I think Eminem is still putting up impressive numbers, and I think the hoop rap comparison gets a little dicey, only because that would imply that some of these whack rappers who are hot are averaging 30 a game, and they're not. You know what I'm saying? Like, as far as that metaphor goes. So that might get a little the comparison might get a little dicey there, but once his album comes out, let's take a few listens, and then we can review it when that happens.
Okay, all right, that's fair. Okay, yeah.
I
think that's fair.
But speaking of rap,
talking about go ahead.
I'm sorry. I just had this one question. I was talking to a homie about this recently. When is the last time you memorized a whole rap song.
An entire rap song.
Yeah. Think about that. It's been a minute, right?
It's probably been a damn near a decade. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's not because there's been, a lack of quality rap music. I think we just consume music differently. Like, for instance, we both love Banks, right? He comes out with a mixtape. We listen to that mixtape front and back 100 times, but then another album drops, or another mixtape drops. So we're on that for 100 listens, and then another one drops. So like back in the day, we lived on one album for like 6 months, at least one album. Like I listened to Get Rich or Die Trying so many times, the CD cracked from listening to it too much. So I don't think anybody's getting those kinds of listens anymore. Or maybe our inability to memorize songs now comes from the fact that we're a lot older and our brains are filled up with a lot of other shit, and we just don't got room to fill it up with memorizing lyrics.
Yeah, that's well, but yeah, I think those are good points. I also think with the new music that's coming out, 100% of the effort is just it goes into the hook, 100%, and then people don't even care about the lyrics. Believe it or not, are actually the filler, right? And before
That is
it
a
was
hell
like,
of a
okay,
point.
we gotta have a dope hook, we gotta have dope lyrics, but now it's just like you're just trying. And now I don't know if you've noticed, it's not even like the thing that's catchy. If it's not a hook, the thing that's catchy is not even an actual lyric. It's just a saying that's said in the song. Like it doesn't even rhyme. It's just a part. It's like a half of the rhyme. So before, you have like a 50 Cent lyric, where it was an actual rhyme, and he'd be like, and that was catchy as fuck, right? But now it's just like, I put that bitch on the bus.
Then I put that bitch on the bus.
Catchy part.
I put that bitch on the bus. The bitch I never could trust.
Right.
I put that bitch. Yeah, you're right.
Right.
Yeah.
But the catchy part is the bitch that I put the bitch on the bus. It's crazy.
Yeah, they rap for hashtags, and like for 8 bars, they're only saying 4 bars worth of shit, and then the other 8 bars are saying another 8 bars worth of, or another 4 bars worth of shit. So like the whole 16 bars is is only like 4 phrases.
Yeah. It's sounding now. If you really pay attention to the new shit that's coming out, this shit that's all over the radio, it's no longer traditional song format. It's more so just almost like chants, just like on some like nursery school, like nursery rhyme shit, right? That's crazy.
You're right. You're right, man. Rap music's in a very weird spot. But and I think that's exactly why Eminem is in such a very weird. To go back to him for a second, he's in a very weird place because he's a hip hop purist, and there's nothing pure about hip hop anymore. So like, where does he fit in? So anyway, no more about Eminem.
Yeah. We've listened to hip hop all our lives, and what I always wonder is, okay, hip hop has trends, whatever. We had like, the trap rap, we had the gangster rap, now we have mumble rap. I just often wonder, okay, so what's next though? Because are you going to tell me that it's going to get better? It can't, right? It can only get worse. Like, I don't know, unless we just have a hip hop savior come along that does a little bit of mumble, but he's super lyrical. I don't know how we get back to where we were? I don't know.
I don't know either, because there's a huge difference between hot music and good music. And I don't think we're in a place to where good music matters. It's just all about hot music. Yeah, I don't know. But I don't know, man. I just think I think, it's going to take probably another 3 to 5 years, hopefully less, but maybe another 3 to 5 years for a transition in the genre makes another turn. Like, that's just how it happens. We have to go through 5 years to a decade of bullshit before the next thing, and then it's going to be 5 to 10 years of good shit, and then it's going to be another 5 to 10 years of bad shit. I think that hip hop is the only genre like that, to where styles and it changes at a pace like that. Because you remember, like, that whole, like, that whole 50 Cent, G Unit era, the Def Jam era, the Rockefeller era, like, it was all about who you were signed to, who co-signed you. And then after that, it was about the lyrics, like what they're saying, as opposed to somebody else. And then it was, about beef. It was like the essence of hip hop. Like, then gangster rappers were a thing. Gangster rappers can't sell records no more. There is no room for gangster rappers anymore. People say 50 fell off. 50 didn't fall off. 50 was just making gangster rap still in a non-gangster rap era. And nobody wanted to hear that shit no more.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know what's going to happen, bro. It's getting kind of crazy, man. It's like a lot of good artists out there that are really honing their crafts don't get any looks, I don't know.
I don't know either, but hey, I wanted to take this opportunity to transition into my unfuckwittable for this week. If you don't mind.
Let's hear it.
So, there's been a lot of fuckery going on in the news. We talked about this for like the last 2-3 weeks, about all these sexual harassment issues, people of power in Hollywood and the government, and like everybody's getting called out. This is a accountability era of we're living in a good time for motherfuckers to keep their nose clean. And if their nose is dirty, we got some tissue for you. And that tissue is, you losing your job, you losing your position of power, the public ridicule. So I say all that to say, my unfuckwittable for this week is Roy Moore. Now, for all those who aren't familiar with Roy Moore, this is the governor, of Alabama. The guy who had the cowboy hat at one of his rallies, pulled out a gun out of his pocket to let us know that he is a strong proponent of the Second Amendment. This nasty motherfucker has a long history of dating and hollering at and harassing young girls. Now, I don't mean young girls like, 21, 22, maybe 2019. I ain't talking about like your barely legal girls. I'm talking about your illegal girls, young girls, children, young girls, 16, 17. This guy was banned from a mall for hitting on children at the mall. Young girls who worked in some of these retail stores in the mall were told to look out for him because he preys on young girls. He even called the school of a young girl that was attending the school, called the school. And this is back when, you weren't texting people saying, hey, what's up? No, he called the school. She got called to the office. He's on the other end of the phone and says something like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And she answers, "I'm in trick class." So the reason Roy Moore is unfuckwittable, like out of everything I just said, I think his unfuckwittableness goes without saying. Oh, I left one thing out. He also wrote in a young girl's yearbook. You don't get any more creepy than that. And the thing I find most appalling about all of this is he still has supporters. What will it take for this man to disappear? For us as a society, for all those Alabamanians or whatever they go by, to be like, yeah, we can't fuck with him. They're on the Bible Belt. These are supposed to be some of the most conservative Christian people in the country. And these fuckheads are condoning his behavior. So actually, you know what? I'm going to go with a unfuckwittable power ranking of number 1 to Roy Moore for this week. And number 2 is the people of Alabama who still support this guy. So yeah, 2 unfuckwittables for the week. The people of Alabama who support him are also unfuckwittable. You guys are all nasty people, and I don't know what it's gonna take for y'all to understand that this behavior is unacceptable. Maybe it's gonna take your daughters being preyed upon by a grown ass man. Maybe it's gonna take your sister to be preyed upon by a grown ass man. I hope that doesn't happen because no young girl deserves that. But maybe that's what it's going to take for you to understand how serious this shit is and how fucked up Roy Moore is. Roy Moore should disappear forever. He should never show his face anymore. Because if it was anybody else, they would have burned this guy's house down. So that's all I got to say about that. And I said that's all I got to say about that because Forrest Gump, as you know, was from Greenbow, Alabama. And he would say, and that's all I got to say about that. So I thought that was apropos.
Damn. Well done. That was one of our best unfuckwittables to date.
Yeah.
Hey man, that was a good shit, man.
Yeah, no problem. I think it's just I think it's a fucked up situation, man. There's a lot of shit coming out. My man Al Franken got himself caught up too. Apparently he forcibly kissed a woman, also groped her while she was sleeping, allegedly, because the picture I saw looked like he was motioning as if he was going to do it, but it doesn't actually show him actually doing it. I'm not saying that he didn't, but it didn't show him actually doing it. It doesn't make it right either. But this is a fucking purge, man. Everybody's getting called out. I'm very fortunate.
Yeah.
That I've never groped or forced myself upon a woman without her consent.
Yeah, same here. It's just not in us to do that type of shit. Also your boy Sylvester Stallone, Sly Stallone, he got named recently too.
Really? What did he do?
Now bear with me here. This is on the internet, but this was from 30 years ago. He was filming a movie in Las Vegas, and he was staying in one of the hotels. And 30 years ago, he was 40, whatever movie he was shooting, and he forced a 16-year-old girl to have oral sex with him and his bodyguard, and then he forced the 16-year-old girl to have sex with his bodyguard.
What?
And then he told the 16-year-old girl, if you tell anybody, we'll bash your fucking head in because we got wives. We both got wives. And but the thing that makes this crazy is an actual police report was filed. Like they went to the fucking authorities, and I guess from what I'm reading that the authorities never really follow through with this shit. Pretty crazy, man.
That
and
is now the craziest
the
shit
way
I've
they
ever
met.
heard. So like they raped her, like orally raped the girl,
and
statutorily raped her.
yeah, and the police report is saying that the way they met was, like, I guess after a while, everyone staying in that hotel, they knew that Sly was staying there. And so I guess he would come down occasionally and there'd just be crowds waiting for him. And so, he signed the autographs, taking pictures and shit. And he gave the victim's friend like a kiss on the cheek. And then the victim asked for a kiss on the cheek. And then he said something along the lines like, "Oh, I'll give you something. I'll give you something special later," or whatever. And he's like, "How old are you?" And then she tells him, "I'm 16. And his response is, "Wow, how'd you get a build like that for 16 years old?" And I forget how they arranged, like, but she came up to his room.
What?
And that's where all the shit went down. Yeah. Now bear with me, this is on the internet, but
Jesus Christ. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So the comment was inappropriate, right? It was completely inappropriate. But if he would have left it at that, we wouldn't even be having this conversation right now.
Yeah.
Man.
It's everywhere. Fox News. Sylvester Stallone responds to allegations. He sexually assaulted and threatened a 16-year-old when he was 40. Yeah, he's denying it. But there's a fucking police report, so I don't know, man. It's
Oh my God. When's this shit all gonna end? Meanwhile, the President of the United States has somehow figured out how to deflect all of his accusers, all of these allegations, all of his misconduct. It's got swept under a rug. How does that happen? I'll never know.
Dude, yeah. Is this dude untouchable? Like, legit?
Yes, he's untouchable.
Like, he's
nothing Teflon Don.
That he... There's nothing that he can do where people will be like, "Okay, you gotta go."
And he knows it. Because remember at one of his rallies, he said, "I can go and shoot somebody in the middle of Fifth Avenue and wouldn't lose a supporter."
That's crazy.
That's some ballsy shit, though. He said that shit in front of people. Motherfuckers heard him. He didn't say that off camera, that's like crazy. Where he was just caught on the hot mic, like the Access Hollywood bus. Nah, he said that in front of a crowd of people. And they were like, "Yeah, we'll ride with you. Yeah, go kill somebody right now." But speaking of women, I'm gonna switch gears for a second. You love this one. So, Jordan Clarkson of the Los Angeles Lakers.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. This dude, he said, and I love this, he said he only wants to play well so women will like him. He's in the NBA. He works on his craft for the bitches.
Your Los Angeles Lakers, man. Damn.
Here's the thing. I don't know if he's got his priorities straight or if he's got them fucked up. I can't decide. Because whatever his motivation is, like, it's going to keep him working hard and working on his game. Some people do it for money. Some people do it for the love of sport. Some people do it for the love of competition. He's doing it for pussy. So, like,
I guess in one hand I give him props for being honest. I guess.
So, I mean, like, is that cool? Like, is that okay? That motherfuckers is out here just playing for the bitches?
No, it's not okay. It's 100% not okay. No, because you should never do anything for the attention or love for a woman, because there's so many great other things out there. Like, first off, if you're not playing for, you should play for yourself first off and your family. But that's the old school mentality. I don't think you should do anything for the attention of a woman at the end of the day.
So would this be the definition of hustling backwards that 50 was talking about in Rider Music?
You hustling backwards if you chasing a chick.
No, he said bitch. It's okay. I know what year we live in. We're just quoting lyrics. And I'll get back to quoting lyrics in a second, because there's something else I want to say about quoting lyrics. But yeah, you're hustling backwards if you're chasing a bitch, chase money, stupid, they come with the shit. Or something like that.
Yeah.
So is Jordan Clarkson hustling backwards?
Well, I would have to say so. Yeah. Yeah. The fact that he said it out loud, the fact that you said out loud is just, his priorities are all fucked up, I think. But I guess from a Lakers standpoint, hey, as long as you ball out, we don't give a fuck. I mean, from their standpoint, it's like, well, it could be worse. He could be balling like Lonzo.
Yeah, yeah. And for the record, he is a professional basketball player playing for the Los Angeles Lakers. The bitches are gonna come, whether he plays hard, whether he plays well or not. I mean, the better he plays, the better it works out for him, because he'll get more notoriety, but he's not going to be, there's not going to be any shortage of bitches. There's not.
Yeah. But you see, it's a gift and a curse, because if you play too well, if you ball out too well and too much in LA, you become a target for the Kardashian clan. And that's the end of your shit. So you got to be careful. You got to be good, but you can't be fucking all-star good. You can't be superstar good.
But all of them are taken right now, though.
You pop on their radar.
All of them are taken, though. Well, I guess that doesn't necessarily matter either.
Yeah,
they're ruthless.
But they switch men like we switch J's. It's like, one day I'm feeling this, Jordan, but the next day I might go with the 13s. I don't know.
Yeah, so, you're right. You're right.
You got to be careful. Shout out to Lamar.
And Reggie. And Nick. And James Harden. And all the other laundry list of men that they've run through. They've been running through men like men run through chicks. Jesus Christ. But back to lyrics. So this week also, Peter Vesey. You know who Peter Vesey is, right?
Yeah.
To our listeners,
inside stuff.
Yeah, inside stuff. And to our listeners, if you don't know who Peter Vesey is a famous sports writer, sportscaster, sports columnist, sports analyst. Like, he's been around for a minute. He was most prominent, I would say, in the 90s. That's where I believe he got his his big break or a big notoriety. He's from New York, well respected. Like, I love Peter Vesey, and I actually kind of love him more now. But I also am a little disappointed in Peter. So what happened was the Cavs played the Knicks. The Knicks had them up by 20. The Cavs come back and win the game. LeBron got into it with one of the rookies, and then Enes Kanter came up and checked LeBron, and LeBron pushed him out of the way. They were talking to each other. Then during the press conference, during the locker room press conference, Enes Kanter was saying how, you don't check a rookie, you check a grown man. We ain't afraid. You won't care if you call yourself the king or the queen or the princess, blah, blah, blah. So Peter Vesey, a New York Knicks fan, a New Yorker, like I stated before, loved that fighter spirit of Enes Kanter, which any New Yorker would, because it's reminiscent of the 90s New York Knicks, who were very tough. And he said something to the effect that, hey, we love what you're doing. Hey, we don't care who you are. Niggas bleed just like us. This is in a tweet. and he didn't, type out. Oh, by the way, Peter Vesey's a white guy. Um, he didn't tweet out niggas. It was in star 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 stars or asterisk asterisk asterisk. And so when I first read that, I thought of it two different ways. The first way was when I first read it, I was like, oh shit, Peter Vesey knows B.I.G. lyrics. And for those who don't know what I'm referring to, is the Notorious B.I.G. has a song called Niggas Bleed. And it's a very good song. It's off of the Life After Death double album. Great album. If you haven't listened to it, I suggest you do so after you slap yourself. And so my first thought again was, damn, that's a big lyric. Peter Vesey knows big. Then I was like, wait, he just put niggas in a tweet. And he's a white dude. Does he not know that even if you put the asterisks on there, it's just not what you should do as a white dude? He could have put like all asterisks. He didn't have to put the in there. Like, we knew what he was referring to. So I believe it was Bomani Jones who said something like, what an uncomfortable way to find out that Peter Vesey is a Notorious B.I.G. fan. I couldn't have said that better myself. Like, so on one hand, I'm like, yo, Peter Vesey knows big, dope. But he just said niggas in a tweet. I don't know how I feel about that. Actually, I know how I feel about it. I'm not cool with it. But he was quoting a lyric. So this opened up a larger conversation. And I want to get your opinion on it. Okay, actually, I want to get your opinion on that in a second. I want you to chime in or tell me about how you feel about the Peter Vesey tweet first, and then I'll ask you my question.
Okay. Here's my take on it. So you can say something racist and you're not necessarily a racist, right? So my problem with that whole tweet thing is it's hard for me to give him the benefit of the doubt. And what I mean by that is sometimes there's people out there that they purposely do shit like this to get a reaction out of folks or to sometimes divide people. And I think that's exactly what Peter Vesey did. I think he did it to get a rise, and he kind of played the fence on purpose. To me, that's the worst type of, I guess that's the worst type of racist, when you try to outsmart other folks to say something racist, to say something inappropriate.
I don't think Peter Vesey's racist, though.
Covered. I don't think he's racist either, but I think that he did that, he did it in a way to kind of cover his ass. And to me, that's the worst type of racism.
Like, he gave himself a reason to say nigga. He gave himself an out.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. And I think that sometimes that's the worst type of racism to deal with, because automatically you're 100% in the right if you feel offended by that, right? But because of the way he delivered it, he's going to have a lot of support. He's going to have people come to his aid, because there's going to be people saying, well, no, he was just quoting a lyric. It's on paper. It was said by another person. Do you get what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean. That makes a lot of sense.
For that, like, if I knew him, I could no longer fuck with him, because I can't give you the benefit of the doubt. I just can't. Based on my personal experiences, I can't. Because I feel like if you're a black male, black woman, chances are you have experienced some form of racism, right? And depending on where you live or the type of work you do, there's a good chance you've experienced that type of racism, right? Where it's like shrouded in I guess, you're not able to see the real truth behind it. It's hard.
Yeah, it's like smoke and mirrors. Like
you're
you
on the
can't.
fence.
Like it's like if you went to somebody with it, if you went to HR with it, you couldn't prove it because it's a little too covert.
Exactly. Yeah. So I don't fuck with shit like that, you know? Because if you're smart enough to kind of put that in motion, I think you're smart enough to know that you should just stay away from the fucking word.
Right.
In my opinion.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
I agree.
My take on it.
Hey, and you are 100% right in all of that. I think maybe the majority of black people feel the way you do. And I know there's a small percentage of people that understand where I'm coming from. I don't want to mislead anybody. I'm not endorsing Peter Vesey or any non-black person's use of the N-word. I'll just call it the N-word right now. But which leads me to the question I wanted to ask you. So, rap music, as you know, is there is no color lines with rap music. It's not just made for black people. My favorite rapper is a white guy, again, and there more white people listen to rap music than black people. There's a huge population of Asians, Latinos, anybody that lives on planet Earth likes rap music. I mean, you know, not everybody, but anybody who lives on planet Earth likes rap music. It doesn't matter where you come from. So, rap music uses the N-word an awful lot. Mm-hmm. So, when you got a white guy listening to YG, for instance, who has a song called My Nigga, and the hook, he says my nigga like 13 times. They're in their car by themselves, and they're reciting the lyrics by themselves. Do you expect them to just let the hook play through and wait till the verses to start singing along? Or do you understand that they're singing the lyrics and they're fans of, the fans of the artist, they're fans of the genre. There's not a racist bone in their body. Do you, like, how do you feel about that?
In that situation, I understand. I get it. If you're a legit, for me, it always comes down to the intent. So if you're in your car by yourself listening to that shit and you actually enjoy the music and you're vibing to it and you say it, I'm not tripping. Like if somebody came to me and said, yeah, I say the N-word when I'm listening to rap music, I'm like, well, okay, whatever, right? But I feel as though like shit changes if we're all in a social setting and then like a white guy puts on a record that is flooded with the N-word and he says it and in front of all of us. That's a fucking problem because you got to double check with people, man. Like to me, that word is no different from sometimes like how there's there's jokes out there that are, they're racist jokes, right? You gotta make sure that the people that are around are the type of people that wouldn't take offense to that joke, right?
Right.
You gotta assess the situation. But I'm not gonna get mad at someone if they're vibing to music and they say that shit to themselves. But I feel like the world we live in now, you gotta know that you just can't say that shit in public, even if it's to music or not. You gotta know that.
Right. I agree. Yeah, I agree with all of that. We can't police everything people are doing in private. You're by yourself or you're with a group of your white homies or something. And y'all are vibing out to, any rap song that is, littered with the N-word. It doesn't surprise me that somebody would just sing along with the lyrics because those are the lyrics to a song. But if that very same hypothetical white guy was in a mixed crowd or with his black homies, and he should know better than to recite that word. He should know better than he should know to. Well, I'm gonna just go ahead and skip over this word while the song is playing. So yeah, I'm right with you on that. I don't think that now as far as like comedy or when there's jokes, racist jokes and whatnot, I think we talked about this with Paul. Is the joke better be funny. If you're going to be offensive with the joke, it better be funny for your sake. Because otherwise it's just offensive. And the ass whooping that ensues is your fault.
Yeah. Yeah. Agreed.
So yeah, I'm glad we had that conversation on that, because I was definitely curious about how you felt about it.
Yeah, man. Well, it kind of ties into the Terry Crews thing. You know how Terry Crews came out and he said that, someone pretty much groped him in front of his wife, right?
Right.
And he had to refrain himself from just going off the hinges and caving this dude's face in, because it was like a public setting and all that stuff, right? And I guess a lot of people are kind of going at Terry Crews because their thing is that the fact that he allowed someone to grope him in front of his wife and he didn't do anything about it, right? And so my thing is, okay, so if you're at a work function, right, and someone like a superior, like a boss, is, he comes up to you in front of a group of people, and for whatever reason he drops the N-word, right? Listen, given the setting, you can't just start swinging on the dude and cave his fucking face in. But you can damn sure give him an earful and try to beat him at his own game, right? And verbally tell him that's not cool. That I take that as disrespect. However, if we're in the streets and somebody comes up to me and just drops the N-word in front of me, I will still use my words. But if it gets to a level where it's confrontational, then whatever. That's just my take on it.
Okay.
I think Terry Crews did the right thing.
Okay.
I think he did he did the wrong thing because he didn't say anything, right? He just said, "Dude, what are you doing?" I think that's too light of a reaction, right? I think the guy was like, because the guy just walked away like, "Oh, you're joking," like, "Oh, come on," and just walked away and came back and did it again. You can't go off swinging on people, but you have to put the foot down and say, "Hey, this shit is not gonna fly at all," right? That's my opinion on it.
So I don't think those two scenarios are the same. Like, I think getting groped in that setting and somebody calling you the N-word in that setting is different. But I do agree that you handle yourself differently at like a work function than you would in the streets. Like, I think, all right, so at the work function, if Terry Crews's that guy might have dropped the N-word. I don't care how he used it, but if he dropped it, there's definitely a way you can check him in an appropriate way for that setting. Now, one might ask, why do I have to be appropriate when this motherfucker dropped the N-word not being appropriate? Like, why do I have to take the high road when he chose not to? The real answer is just be that way sometimes. I don't know. But you can't tell somebody how to react, but for the sake of this conversation, you can check him and let him know that shit will not fly. It ain't cool, and if I hear you say it again, we're going to have real problems. You can probably say that. You can say it low enough so nobody can hear you. You can, grab his hand, shake his hand, squeeze it, and let him know you really mean it. In the streets, you can tell him the same thing. It might just not come off as quietly or as, the streets, you just react appropriately for where you are. Now, as far as the groping thing, as a man who doesn't want anybody groping me in front of my woman, and definitely don't want another man groping me, for me, that would have resulted in, at the very least, me pushing him away from me. Like, and Terry Crews is a big dude. So a push from Terry Crews might have sent that dude back about 12, 15 feet. That would have gotten my message across and let him know. And if Terry Crews was, people were reacting like, whoa, what the hell? What's going on, Terry? Why are you acting that way? I'd have just said, this motherfucker grabbed my dick in front of my wife. And I'm pretty sure all of them would be like, oh, well, shit. He's lucky you only pushed him. Now, in the streets, you don't have to push him. You can just lay him out.
I agree. Like, but you can't expect Terry Crews to beat his face in, right? You can't. I mean, I wouldn't, if I heard the story, I wouldn't be like, oh, that's fucked up, Terry. But understanding the grand scheme of things, he can't murder the dude there.
No,
right?
no.
But I agree that you gotta take a firm stance verbally, and you can I guess I don't push his fucking hand away and let it be known like that's not cool. But to get at Terry Crews and say, to take his manhood card away or his black card away because he didn't beat that dude into a pulp, I just think that's like, come on. Be real with yourself.
Doing nothing. I mean, I'm not in that situation, and I hope I'm never in that situation because it will be uncomfortable for everybody. But I don't understand not doing anything. I don't understand not doing anything. Maybe you don't. I don't know, man. I just don't think something would have happened to that guy. He'd put his hands on me in a physical, unwanted manner. I'm going to do the exact same thing to him. Except I'm not grabbing his genitals. And actually, if I do, I'm going to squeeze them and hopefully, I'd if I was Terry Crews, I would have channeled the Money Mike Damon bathroom scene from Friday After Next, and I would have been squishing on his balls in a one-horse open sleigh. And I would have told everybody, get back. There's going to be ball juice everywhere. Like, something would have happened to that guy. It just would have. But, again,
yeah.
I can't tell Terry Crews that he's wrong for not doing anything. Shit, it was his situation to react to. Like, I can't tell somebody how to react. And he had his reasons. I don't think... I hate the whole, I was afraid I would never get a job in Hollywood again if I would have retaliated. I don't like that mentality, but I understand that that's the precedent that's been set by these Hollywood execs. And that's exactly why a lot of these motherfuckers are under fire now. So it's a terrible thing, but again, I just hope it don't happen to anybody I know or love. Actually, I hope it doesn't happen to anybody in general, even if I don't know you or love you. So,
yeah, and I think this this Hollywood thing is good because it's getting a lot of creepers out there, putting them, making them face the music and shit. But at the same time, it is showing how hypocritical people are because it's so easy to say, "Oh, I would have done this," One of my biggest pet peeves that I'm seeing online right now is how people are coming at these women and they're saying, well, why would you come forward now? Right? Here's the thing. And I said this before, when shit like this happens, right? Without understanding all the facts, without knowing all the facts, you have to give the woman the benefit of the doubt initially. I just think that is the right thing to do until you know all the facts.
Right.
And I don't think people understand how hard it is to be in that situation where, dude, not only are you being violated, but in a sense, you feel completely powerless. right?
Right.
Because in like a Harvey Weinstein situation, that motherfucker is Hollywood, right? It does take a while to digest. It does take a while to process, right? So I can't go with anyone that takes 3-4 years to come forward. What I do have a problem is if you're gonna do the right thing completely, right? So if someone does something to me, right, and let's say someone did something fucked up to me in 2008, right? In 2009, they come to me and say, "Hey, we know that shit was fucked up, but here's $500,000 to go away. Don't say anything," right? If I take that fucking money, right? In my opinion, for me personally, I'm talking for me, I have no right to come forward 10 fucking years later.
No, because you taking the money is you agreeing to not say anything. And although somebody bought your silence, it's also kind of a contract. And you can't come out and say something after you've already taken the money. That's you just can't do that.
Right. Because and in a way, I get it. You know, it's a lot of money coming to you, but in a way, you've essentially given up all your fucking leverage.
And
like if they came to you and said
you named your price.
Right,
you can be bought now.
Like if they came to you, yeah, exactly. If they came to you and was like, "Here's $500,000," and you're like, "Oh no, I'm good," and they keep driving up the price more and more and more and more and more and more. If you continue to say no, at the end of the day, you will always have leverage on them, right?
Well, you might come up missing if you don't say yes.
Which has happened, yes.
Yeah.
Especially in fucking Hollywood. Yeah, bro.
Yeah, and last thing I'll say about this is now I think when like one woman comes forward, the general public can go either way on these allegations based on the guy. Like you could half people believe her, half people think she might just be looking for attention or money or something like that, which is almost understandable in this society, right? Like it's almost understandable. Because we've seen in the past where people are just looking for attention. Like the one real big girl who said Usher fucked her and gave her herpes. Now, we know good and well that Usher did not sleep with her fat ass. So we don't believe her. What's the point? And we haven't seen or heard from her since then. But when it's like when another woman comes forward and then another and then another, and then a man comes forward, and then more women come forward, you're like, all right, there's smoke. There's smoke. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, and the reason why people are coming forward years later, decades later, is because now they're emboldened to speak up for themselves. They've been living with these scars their whole lives, and now, the person who's brave enough to be the first person to come forward has led the charge, and now you can join in. Now you feel like I don't have to hide anymore about this. So to any woman out there that has been sexually assaulted by somebody or harassed by somebody, it doesn't necessarily have to be sexual, but in these cases, it seems like it always is. I definitely encourage them to come out and say something because, we've got to get rid of these people in power that are taking advantage of their power and taking advantage of people. Because I don't believe that people's moral compass, I don't think you should only have a moral compass because you're not rich and famous, because you're broke. You should have a moral compass no matter what level of success or wealth that you attain. Like, you should be a good person because you're a good person. Now, if someone wants to fuck you because you are who you are, then by any means, as long as you guys are both consenting adults, go for it. Or what happened to prostitutes? You know, we talked about prostitutes a lot on this podcast in terms of these Instagram air quote models Why isn't anybody just sliding into their DMs and fucking them? Why isn't Harvey Weinstein fucking these women and just paying them? You won't hear shit from them. Why do you gotta force yourself upon people? I know somebody says, well, it's about power. It's about blah, blah, blah. I think at the end of the day, it's about getting a nut. And if you're trying to get a nut, why don't you do it without having to fucking rape people to do it? Like, you're rich and famous and powerful enough to have 10 women at your beck and call at any given moment. And there's women out there that be happy to do so. I'm pro prostitutes.
Yeah, I don't get it, man.
I'm pro prostitutes as far as that goes.
Pro prostitute.
I am. I mean,
all right. Well,
say what you will about my moral compass, but I don't believe prostitution is a problem. There's a market for it.
There's always a market for it. Yeah. Oh shit. Well, there you have it. That's the Fried Bologna stance on prostitution.
Yes. Fried Bologna stands with the prostitutes.
Oh shit. Hey man, you want to end this?
Yeah. On that note,
hour 36.
Yeah. On that note, let's get out of here, man. I think we covered an awful lot, and I feel we said all we could say about a lot of different things.
Yeah, good chat.
Oh yeah, hey, and last but not least, on behalf of Fried Bologna, 10-Man TC, and High IQ, want to wish you and yours a very happy Thanksgiving. And if you happen to get trampled on Black Friday, it's your own goddamn fault for being out there in the first place.
Yeah, you big dummy.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And
Happy Thanksgiving.
And IQ, as always, man, we're just a couple of suburban hood niggas out here trying to make it.
Amen, brother. Amen.
All right, take it easy, man.
All right. Peace.
Peace.